Hey, welcome back, and in this video we're looking at the single most important quality you should be looking for in a spouse. Now, research across different marriages in the Christian community, marriages between unbelievers, all point to this quality as the most important quality for success in marriage. So imagine your son or daughter comes to you a couple of weeks after landing their 7 figures a year job, and they tell you they are quitting, and you ask why. They say, well, they had a misunderstanding with one of their co-workers and they are just fed up. They have had enough. This is it. They can't take it anymore. They deserve to be happy and free. So they are quitting the job. What's going to be your reaction? And what are you going to think about that child? Well, I think the one word that you can describe that is immaturity. And that is the word we are looking for. Well, not immaturity. If you remove the I and the M, maturity, yes, that's the single most important quality that guarantees success in marriage, maturity. Now, before we go further, what is maturity? Are you mature if you're looking for a spouse? Well, first off, maturity is not a number. It's true that the government systems and societies put a certain age or number, 18, 21, on different things to describe maturity. In other countries, 25 or even 16. But maturity is not a number. Mature springs from the Latin word maturus, which essentially means ripe or to have attained full developmental stage. In other words, it means when a fruit has become ripe, it no longer receives nutrients from the tree, and usually that's why it falls off the tree. It has become independent, and now instead of existing for itself like when it was receiving nutrients from the tree and growing itself, now it exists for another being, either the animal that is going to eat the fruit or the human that is going to eat the fruit. So when you picture that and you put it in terms of relationship, it means a mature person is a person that has gotten to the point where things are no longer about them. So the marriage is not about them, just like in the company, your son, your daughter is not about them. Whether they have conflicts with whoever or they don't understand or get along with whoever, it's no longer about them. It's about the company's goals and objectives. And that is the reason why they should stay. And that is a common way of thinking and understanding that was found in marriages that have lasted 10, 20, 30 years, whether be it believers or unbelievers. Because every marriage that you see that has lasted long, even say 30 years for example, could have ended at 5 years or could have ended at 10 or 15. The point is there are always going to be, in quotes, life-threatening challenges that the marriage is going to face. But what makes the difference is how mature the people that are involved in the marriage react to those challenges. So the number one trait you should be looking for in a potential spouse, which is the same trait that big companies are looking for in their employees, is this maturity trait that they are thinking beyond themselves. It's not about their personal happiness, their personal goals, but it's that they have something bigger they want to hold on to and to build. It could be a family, it could be the kids, and that safely puts critical decision making no longer at the whims of how they feel or what they desire selfishly. So the question is, well, you are looking for a mature spouse. Are you mature? Are you ripe? Have you attained full developmental stage? Maturity comes with age, but not always. Indeed, maturity comes from growth. That's what maturus means. The fruit has attained full growth. And growth, we know, for humans comes from knowledge. It comes from learning. It comes from education. Not necessarily schooling, but you learning and growing your mind and your understanding. And one of the benefits of learning and growing into maturity is that a large portion of trivialities that could be a threat or is actually a threat to many marriages becomes insignificant to you and to your marriage. Maturity is you asking yourself, is this really important, before you bring up a topic that has a potential for conflict and argument and misunderstanding. Maturity is asking yourself, will this matter 10 years from now? And if it won't matter, then it doesn't really matter about whether they press the toothpaste from the top or the down, whether they took a few bucks and spent it without telling you, whether they leave the toilet seat up or down. Those are trivialities, and you'll be amazed to know that these things actually bring down marriages. Literally. Of course, this doesn't mean that mature people cannot have a misunderstanding. We're just saying that they have fewer misunderstandings, which therefore means that they have less opportunities or chances for conflict and therefore chances to consider quitting. But all the same, important things they actually address. Like we said, is this important? Will it matter 10 years from now? If it will matter 10 years from now, then you should probably bring it up. I mean, if you see your partner flirting with the opposite sex, I think that is important. It can matter 10 years from now. Else, if you sweep it under the rug, then you might wake up one day and feel like you're suspecting that your partner has a second family out of town, only for you to realize one day that it turns out you were wrong. You were actually the second family. Okay, jokes aside, but you get the point. There can never be zero conflict, but between mature people, there are fewer, because a lot of things that are trivialities are already taken care of. You can forgive in advance, you can let go in advance. You don't necessarily need an apology for that. That is maturity. It's not about you, it's about something bigger than you. The institution of marriage, the kids once they get involved, and the business contract of till death do us part. But how practically do you become mature? Well, the first step to maturity is identifying and dealing with your insecurities and past traumas and anything that makes you not fully whole and independent, because as far as that fruit will still need to hang on to that branch and keep receiving nutrients, it's never going to be independent enough to be able to serve another organism in the food cycle. And then there comes the education, the learning, the reading of books, sitting under people who have had successful marriages, perhaps your grandparents, your great-grandparents, if they're still married. Get the lessons, apply the lessons, read. And lastly, practice. Practice letting go of trivialities, practice forgiving in advance, practice putting aside your own desires and getting a compromise, practice not always having your way, practice letting go and not paying back. You know, one of the worst forms of immaturity is having a mindset of, oh, we have to get even, so I must do you something so that we get even. That's super childish. I'm sorry, don't take it personal. That's just it. As we go, it's interesting that the statistics now show that more than 50% of marriages end in divorce. And there's a scripture that says that whatever God has joined together, let no one put asunder. But that's the point. Most marriages today, God didn't join them together, because if you start considering this maturity factor and you look at the marriages around you that failed, you would see that a lot of them did not have this quality. So a successful marriage is simply a mature marriage, and a mature marriage is simply a marriage with two mature individuals involved. So as you're considering looking for a mature person, ask yourself, are you mature? Are you ripe? Or maturus es? So that is it. Thank you for watching, and you know the drill. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell if you're new. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this, and a big shout out to our patrons for helping us create content like this. See you.